Hey guys, so you guys had requested more like story time type videos from me, so I thought that I would share this. This experience is definitely not something that I'm proud of, but it's also something that I didn't completely understand when it was happening, so please don't judge me. I was very naive at this point in my life and I had no idea that it was illegal. Um, so yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with something where you unintentionally participated in a scam. Um, this this was when I was living on the south side of Chicago. I was living in Inglewood, the neighborhood in Chicago, and I met some people who told me that they needed my help to cash their paycheck. Now, obviously, that should throw up a red sign or a red flag, whatever you want to say, from the get go. But for whatever reason, like I said, I was naive and I didn't put two and two together that this could even possibly be a scam. So I agreed to help them. At this point, I had a bank account with Chase. And, yeah, so they gave me the check, and I had looked up, I had Googled on my phone, the name of the company, because it was a paycheck, the name of the company, and all this information. It was an actual company, but when I brought it to the bank, they said that they would, because it was such a significant amount, I think it was like 1100 or something like that, that they needed to hold it for a certain period of time before they would release the funds, which I understand because larger amounts tend to take longer to process or whatever, because the bank has to be safe about it. So it went through. A couple days later, the money was in my account, and I let the person know, and I told him, that it's in my account now, so we can go get the money, whatever. And yeah, we went and got the money, and it ended up being a fake check. I guess he had stolen either like a blank check template or something and printed off all these fake checks. But I had detectives calling me. I had people calling me from the fraud department at the bank. I was super scared. I thought I was going to go to jail, or, something else was going to happen. I had no idea. And so I tried to find this person. I knew where he lived because I had been over to his house before. We were kind of friends at that point. And I went over to his house, knocked on the door, nobody answered. It was just a really bad situation, and I think to this day, Chase still is expecting me to pay that, even though they know that it wasn't something that I intentionally did. But since it was my account, I'm still technically responsible for that money, which I believe after that, like, they had taken out a portion of my disability check, because my disability checks were being deposited into that bank account at that point in time. And so they deposited, when my disability check got deposited, they took my entire check and applied that towards what was owed for this fake check. And I'm like, how am I supposed to pay my rent? How am I supposed to pay my bills? What's going to happen now? And it was just super terrible. It was a terrible, terrible situation. And when I talked to the fraud department, I was just honest with them. I let them know what was going on. I let them know that this was not something that I even knew about. It wasn't like I was sitting there lying about it, but apparently it had been happening pretty frequently in that specific neighborhood in Chicago. So I wasn't the first person, which I think definitely gave my story a little bit more credibility, which kind of helped me out there. I'm just glad that eventually, like, they said that they weren't going to pursue anything criminal or anything like that, as long as I paid it back, which I believe I still owe them like $450 or something. But regardless, it was terrible. I was so scared. I remember telling my roommate at the time when all of this happened, you know, am I going to go to jail? You know, am I going to have to pay a fine? Do I have to go to court because of this freaking fake check scam? I mean, I had no clue what was going to happen, you know, because like I said, detectives calling me, you know, asking me questions about this person and asking me if I knew where he lived and, you know, for a description of him and everything, and did I know where the fake checks came from? Did I know how he was making them? Did I know this? Did I know that? And I'm like, no, I was just an innocent bystander who got roped into this whole scam that I had no idea, you know, that's exactly what it was. I didn't know. So I couldn't really help them at all with it either. And I felt bad about it, but I couldn't help them because I didn't have any information myself. But anyways, please, 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 if somebody asks you to cash their paycheck for them and you don't know them, if they're not like a blood relative, even then be careful. But if they're not like related to you or you haven't known them for years, please, please, please don't do it, because it's not worth the hassle, and you could definitely get yourself into big trouble for being involved in scams like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story. I know it probably wasn't super, super exciting, but at least you get a little glimpse of how naive one can be. I believe I was like maybe 22, 23, something like that at that time. So yeah, but anyways, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.